Hey guys, this is Dr. Sandy with another exciting video for you and your family and friends. If you are watching for the first time, welcome. If you've been watching for some time, welcome back. My name is Dr. Sandy. This is my 24th year of having my own practice. I'm enjoying chiropractic more than ever. I feel so blessed that I go to work and I see people get stronger, healthier, better by focusing on the nerve system, by getting that neurology balanced, by getting that nerve system balanced, the amazing things that can happen. And I consider it a privilege and an honor to be a chiropractor. Couple of things before we just jump into the video. And the topic today we're going to be discussing is what are the key things that affect your nerve system. So we're going to talk about what are stressors, what are things that affect the nerve system, therefore affecting function, therefore affecting your health. We're going to go deep into three major categories. Just before I get into that, what I'm going to say is that as I film this, tomorrow is going to be Mother's Day. And, I can't say enough. I think all the mothers out there, they do so much. They sacrifice. They think of everyone except for themselves. And it's just incredible what they do. So I want to say hats off to my mom. I want to say hats off to my wife who takes care of our kids and is an incredible mother. And to all the mothers out there, you guys are all doing amazing jobs. Mother's Day should be probably celebrated every day, but I just want to give a big shout out to all the mothers out there that you guys are doing a fantastic job and keep up the great work. And no matter what happens, what you guys do can never really be, I don't know, the thank you cannot be big enough for all the mothers out there. You guys are just incredible. So just wanted to say that. The other thing I was going to say is this month in our clinic, what we're doing is collecting personal items for the women's shelter. There's a local women's shelter we're going to support. And what that means is personal items would be we're collecting things like shampoo, soap, toothpaste, toothbrushes, just the basic necessities. And I was talking to a patient today and I was realizing things you guys take for granted, or even for me, getting up, you brush your teeth, you wash your hands, use a shampoo to wash your hair and go to work or whatever. Things we don't even think about. There's certain people who would love to have that stuff. And we need to support them. So if you'd love to, we'd love your support. If you would like to drop off any items to our clinic, again, we are going to be collecting those items, the shampoo, the toothpaste, the soap, basic personal items for a women's shelter for the month of May. Dedicated, we're kind of making it like a Mother's Month. So if you'd like to help out, that would be greatly appreciated. And as always, as I get into this information, I always want you to walk away even with one or two concepts that you find valuable. That's something you can apply to your life. I try to make it applicable as much as I can. And just even shifting your thinking, looking at your body differently so you take more positive action so you can have a good quality of life. And if you're getting value, as always, please like, share, subscribe, share this with a friend. Leave a comment if you're getting value from these videos, and let's just jump into it. So what is the nerve system? So I think as chiropractors, I think a lot of times people look at us and they see us as bone doctors, that we deal with the bone. And that's, I feel that's a part of the story. But if you really look at our intention, what we want to do is make sure that the brain is sending messages throughout the body. Why is this important? I think we can all agree that the brain is like the main computer for the body. And what the brain is doing, it's just coordinating function. It's making everything work in a rhythm. So for example, if you were to have your breakfast, there's a lot of things we do automatically, which if you really think about it, your nerve system controls every function. So for example, small example, when you have breakfast in the morning, you eat that food, goes through the digestive tract, breaks down, the nutrients are taken out, then whatever's not needed is, a waste product, it's eliminated. These are very automatic functions, but even something simple as that is controlled by your nerve system. Breathing, respiration, the good air coming in, the bad going out. There's so many beautiful things that the nerve system controls. In fact, the nerve system controls everything. It is really how the brain is talking to the body. This would be the central nerve system. And then when it goes beyond that, it's called the peripheral nerve system. And all we're saying in chiropractic is let's keep this system healthy. Let's keep that nerve system healthy. Let's keep that brain-body connection as strong as possible so you can have optimal function, optimal performance, so you can be the best version of you. And think about how powerful that statement is. We're talking about coordination. We're talking about human performance, excellence. That's what chiropractic is about. That your nerves that control the muscles are moving properly, and not that there's a lack of flexibility or spasming or tightening or causing imbalance or poor posture. We're talking about the nerves that control your heart, your lungs, your digestive system, hormones, all these amazing systems. It's all run through the nerve system. So really, our focus as chiropractors is the nerve system, keeping that nerve system as strong as possible. It is the master system of the body. I think we can all agree the brain is the master system. And if the brain can talk to the body through the nerve system, that's really our job as chiropractors, is to keep that open the pipeline. Wherever that pipeline is blocked, open that pipeline and then keep it open. So you can have a good quality of life even as you get older. Because here's the thing, if you kind of look at the human body, imagine someone has a nerve system where there's stress on a certain area, which is around the stomach lining, let's say, and there's stress on that area, and that person's eating all this good food, but let's say, I'm just going to use an example, but their gut system is only absorbing 60%, right? So that's good that they're eating good, but wouldn't it be better if they eat good and they had a healthy nerve system and they're absorbing all that good food they're taking? Maybe they're eating organic food, they're trying to be healthy, fruits and veggies, which we can all agree, of course, those are good things, but you need to have a healthy nerve system. How about someone who exercises? Exercise, of course, is a great thing for the body, but let's say the body's imbalanced. Let's say there's muscle groups that are imbalanced. They may work out, they're not going to get as much from the workout. They may do a good workout and actually have good technique, but there's imbalances in the body, so when they work out, they get these reoccurring injuries. They're just not at the highest level. A very interesting test we do in our clinic is we put people on scales, bilateral weight scales, and if the spine, if everything is balanced and healthy, you should be within a few pounds. But some people, when they stand on those scales, you see 5, 10, 15, sometimes even 20 pounds difference. Imagine someone who's running with a 20-pound difference. How stressful would that be to the spine, the joints in the body, the muscles, the one side that's doing all that work, just the imbalances it would cause. And they might be like, well, I exercise every day, I'm eating good. That's fantastic. But you need to balance that system. We need to have healthy nerves running through there. So everything is valuable. We need to eat good, we need to exercise and all those things. But the foundation is we need a healthy nerve system, the brain sending messages to the body so you can express the highest level of health. That's really the goal of chiropractic. So when we look at it as well, and I want to stress this, the brain-body connection, the nerves are going to every single cell, tissue, and organ in the body. And I'm going to say that again, every cell, tissue, and organ. The nerves go to every part of the human body. So when you are getting adjusted, when the spine is getting balanced and it's getting back in place, it's literally helping all the systems globally throughout the body. And I guess if I'm being very specific, whatever area is restricted, when that becomes balanced again, those cell tissues, those organs, all that area gets the nourishment it needs. And if it's a strong, healthy cell tissue, if it's a strong organ, if it's a strong muscle group, the chance of dysfunction, damage is going to be less because it's operating the way they should be working. So let's say you have proper nourishment, for example, going to the lungs. You're probably going to breathe easier. You're probably going to have better capacity. And if you exercise, you'll probably perform better. Let's say the nerves going to the lungs are not working well. It's probably going to be harder to breathe, or it may not be as efficient to breathe. So that's just a simple example. So we're always looking for that optimal performance so you can be performing at your highest level. Now, one thing also I wanted to talk about, I think this is interesting. When we think about blood circulating through the body, obviously a critical system, but where is it different? So when blood is going through the body, it will provide nourishment, it's providing oxygen, it takes away the waste products. We need that. We want the muscles and organs to be healthy. We need good circulation. But what makes the nerve system different, it's almost more of an electrical system in the body, and it's coordinating things. So for example, if you go out on a cold winter day, and it's really cold, and maybe you're not wearing as many layers as you should be and you're cold, you get a response where the body gets tight, you might start to shiver. That's the nerve system getting activated. So the nerve system is always adapting to its environment. It's actually saying, okay, what's happening and how can I manage in this environment? When you go out on a super hot day and maybe you're wearing, a full sleeve shirt or something and you start sweating, that's a response for the nerve system. The nerve system's coordinating everything. If you're playing with your friends, you're playing like football, you're playing soccer, and your brain says, okay, go time, right? So your muscles contract, the heart rate goes up, and you need to, that's the nerve system working. And of course, you want a strong nerve system so you can respond correctly. And then you also want a healthy nerve system when you need to relax. So a lot of people, we're going to talk about this, they're stressed out. They're working hard hours, long hours. They go to work, they come home with a laptop, they're still like doing work constantly. They're constantly stimulated and they're overstimulating the system, and now the nervous system can't relax. So their nerve system is out of balance. So with chiropractic care, with getting adjusted, with aligning that system, what can happen is the system can now relax. That's what I love about chiropractic. It's about balance. Someone might be overstimulated, someone's understimulated. We just want to find that sweet spot where everything is working well, where the muscles are relaxed. When your muscles are balanced, they're relaxed. When you look at organ function, you don't want too much, you don't want too little. Like overstimulation can cause problems with any organ, not strong enough. So let's look at the colon, for example. So overstimulation, for example, might be too many bowel movements. It might be someone having like diarrhea or something. Let's say that colon is not getting enough stimulation. Now we have constipation, for a simple example. When it comes to heart rate, someone who has overstimulation going to the heart may have heart palpitations, or the heart's just, beating uncontrollably. The other extreme, if the nerves are involved with the heart function and they're not working the way it should, it might be a situation where the heart's not strong enough. Maybe their blood pressure is low. So all of these things. So that's why chiropractic is so valuable. That's why chiropractic is helping the nerve system achieve that optimal level. So those organs, muscles, so you can have, again, that quality of life. But I wanted to make it clear how the nerve system is different than the circulation system. They're both doing valuable things, very different. But in my opinion, the nerve system is where it's at. It's coordinating everything. It's making everything in a harmony. Again, going back to the example, like when you eat something at breakfast, you eat it, it starts to break down in the mouth. It starts to go into the digestive system. This is all how does the body know to take the nourishment out? Like the vitamin A, the vitamin B, for example, whatever you're eating, how does it know what the waste products are? There is something running the system. There's an intelligence in the system, and that's coordinated by the nerve system. So it knows what to do in these areas if it's getting the proper signal. But if those signals can't get through, there can be confusion and dysfunction, and then we see poor health. We see people not function the way they should, and then the symptoms just start to show up across the board. So one thing I was also going to talk about as well. So when we talk about the human body, I think there's a level 1 understanding of, if we look at how we look at the nerve system. So I think a level 1 would be someone says like, I hurt myself. I picked up a heavy object. I picked up a box. I moved a certain way. I twisted a certain way. I have pinched a nerve. I'm in pain. I have shooting pain, numbness, tingling. And I think that's something we can all relate to. And I would call that like a level 1. And of course, those people need help. And I think a lot of them would benefit with chiropractic care. But if I kind of go a little bit deeper than that, so that's an extreme case. But what about if the nerves, for example, in the top area are getting affected and they're misaligned? So maybe they're not getting like a full-blown like raging headache or something, but they have some stiffness. It's not functioning the way it should. So what's going to be over here? So this may show up as trouble sleeping. I can sleep, but it's not a deep sleep, Dr. Sandy. It could be something like at this top area, you can have variation with blood pressure, your mood, your focus, all related to this top area, right? So how about this area right over here, just between the shoulder blades, where now you're getting into heart function, you're getting into the lungs. So maybe they're not as efficient. Maybe someone's always tired because the nerves going to those areas are not functioning the way they should. So again, these are examples, not of full-blown pain per se and compressing a nerve and that shooting pain. which, yes, there's a time and place. Obviously, that would benefit with chiropractic care. But what about, again, just from a functional point of view? We want to have the best level of concentration. We want to be in the best mood. We want to be relaxed at the appropriate time, work at the appropriate time. We want to have high energy. We want to have a body that's flexible, that's moving right, that responds correctly. You don't want delayed reflexes. You want good reflexes that can prevent injury, right? Things like that. So taking care of the nerve system is so vast. You're talking muscle function, you're talking organ function, you're talking overall coordination, brain-body connection. I think that's very powerful. I think there's a lot of interest right now. People are talking about, how the gut affects the body. Of course it does. I think every organ has a time and place. But again, going back to my previous example, we can eat those good foods, but if the nerves that help with absorption are not working at that level, I don't think we're going to get the full result that we're seeking. So we want to have a healthy nerve system, so we have healthy organs, healthy muscles, so we can optimize whatever we're doing. And we want to optimize it throughout our life, not just, at certain points of our life. We always want a good quality of life. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about going from pain to performance. So if we go into performance, we're talking about feeling relaxed, energetic, sleeping well, thinking clearly, as I said. I can't even stress to you, how do you even put a value on these things? These are things that are critical, and we get more out of life. And the other question becomes, how many people are just managing? They're kind of like, I'm kind of tired, I'm kind of in pain, sleep's okay, I'm just managing. But is that really what life's about? I think life, we should always look at it from a place of performance, how we can do better, get the most out of it, because your life will be enriched. And then if you're happy and you're functioning at a high level, that will spill over to your family and friends. And then you have a lot of value to that. When I say the word value, I mean, you're there for them, and then you can enjoy, and life becomes an amazing thing. So let's get into it. What affects the nerve system? So what affects the nerve system? So first would be physical stress. So that would be things like, let's go into the big ones, right? I think we can all relate to this. So like falls, car accidents, sport injuries. And I want to stress to you, let's say 5 years ago, someone was in a bad car accident or they had a bad football injury. If it's bad enough, we use these terms like muscle memory, and I believe there's also like a nerve memory. The body keeps memory of these kind of injuries, so it can show up later in life. But those traumas do affect the human spine and nerve system. So they have to be taken care of. Sometimes people get in an accident, they kind of look around, they go, well, not bleeding. Doctor said there's no fractures, I'm good to go. Well, I think the nerve system should be checked, It's a soft tissue structure. Think about this. You have a soft tissue structure running through all this hard bone, and if this hard bone shifts and compresses that system, that soft spinal cord, it will cause dysfunction. And the thing is that with that trauma that happened, let's say a year ago, someone has a slip or a fall, it may show up down the road. It doesn't have to show up that time. They might be sore for a day or two. The pain's gone, they're like, I'm good to go. But now there could be dysfunction developing at that level of the nerve system, which in the future shows up as like shooting pain in the leg, maybe a digestive issue, breathing issue, whatever it is. So the nerve system should be checked. So the big one we know would be the physical. I mean, that's more traumatic. Someone might have a job where they drive a lot. This could be a driver, truck driver. This could be a professional who sits all day in front of their computer, very hard on the spine, very hard on the nerve system. So these are things we have to look at. There might be someone who works in a factory with very repetitive work where there is heavy lifting, or it might be very small, but it's, 200-300 times a day they're doing a certain activity, very hard on the nerve system. They need to get that spine checked. If we go to the next category, so that's physical, now we're going to get into chemical. So chemical stresses would be things like coffee, tea, smoking, eating fast food, eating processed food and drinks. So eating food that is not made from Mother Nature is going to be a stress on the nerve system because it's man-made, it's full of chemicals. It's another thing affecting the spine. Drinking alcohol, will affect the nerve system. So now think about the typical North American person, and probably most people throughout the world, this is starting to happen. So they may get up in the morning, they start with coffee, which is a stimulant, so you're already stressing your nerve system. Then they might grab a bagel or something which is probably processed, no fruit or anything like that. Then, you know, at lunch they're too busy, so they grab some fast food. At nighttime, they might have some like fries or whatever, some, again, you know, processed food or whatever. They might have a beer before they go to bed, you know, have a little bit of ice cream before, you know, they're doing all these things that are stressing the nerve system. And then they're like, you know, why am I tired? Why do I have pain in the body? Why is there inflammation in the body? Why is there tenderness in the body? And there's no question that these things will affect the nerve system. So we need to make an effort to minimize. I'm not saying be perfect at all by any means, but at least if we can start to reduce it, maybe tell yourself, I'll try to eat clean. I'll try to drink water during the week. Maybe I'll have a little bit of, you know, a dessert on the weekend or whatever it looks like. But I would say the top things, if you can reduce caffeine, if you can reduce alcohol, if you can reduce smoking, these things will really help your nerve system. And then the biggest category I want to share with you is emotional stress. So emotional stress is huge. This is, I think, probably the biggest thing that affects the nerve system. So we're talking about dealing with family, dealing with work, someone who's always worried, someone who is just thinking about, you know, the worst things that can happen. And then, you know, they watch the news, they talk to their friends, they hear about certain things. And it's just that constant level of stress, it's wearing down the nerve system, right? Someone who's always angry, depressed, all of these negative emotions affect the nerve system in a negative way. Someone who, I'm putting it under this category, but someone who, you know, they have a job environment where maybe they like the work, but maybe the team they work with is challenging. Maybe the customers they work with are challenging, or they like their work, but they're doing like, you know, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, whatever the number is. They're just constantly on the go. That wears down the nerve system. That will affect their spine and nerve system. That will affect them physically. It'll cause different symptoms. So when we look at the major categories, you have the physical, you have the chemical, your diet, and then the emotional. These are the things that affect the nerve system. Chiropractic is way more than how to lift a box. It's much more complicated than that. I wish it was just that one thing, but it's so deep. You have to look at your whole life and say, what can I do better? So let's talk on solutions, and I'm going to start to close the video with this. And I want you to take action with this and maybe just choose one thing that you're going to do better to help your nerve system, because healthy neurology will always be good for you. We all deserve to have a healthy brain, a nerve system, a spine, and there's things you can do to help with that. So physically, I stress this to my patients, but stretching is critical. It's great for the nerve system. Obviously, listen to your body. It should feel comfortable when you do it. You don't want to do anything that hurts you, but stretching is good. I would say going for walks is good. Swimming is good. Very kind of gentle activities. They really help the nerve system. I'm a big fan of yoga. Obviously, see what level you can handle. I would only say in yoga, unless you're like a master level, I get concerned as a chiropractor when I see people do the headstand. I think you got to be very cautious, and that could stress vertebrae in the neck. So that's something you want to be aware of. But these are things you can look at. You know, do yoga and don't just do the headstand move. Just put that out of the equation. Do everything else and, you know, follow that. Chemically, as I've said, let's avoid the alcohol, the caffeine. We, you know, even processed drinks like the soda pops and things like that. Drinking water, eating real food, real veggies. Make the investment, try to buy organic if you can, but just eat real food as much as you can. We want to get away from chemicals. It gets trapped in the nerve system and affects function. And then the big one, emotional health, you have to look at. I mean, this is a whole other topic, but I'm going to try and, you know, hit the high points. But what I would say with emotional stress, you want to, I think, pray, meditate, journaling. I always advocate. These are big things that help us deal with stress. Having a good friend you can talk to, maybe a family member you trust where you can get that stress out. We don't want to bottle it up. I think another thing as well, for me, I've said this many times, but like listening to music is very powerful. Just getting fresh air would be also healthy. And then going deeper, if things are serious, like if your work environment is stressing you out, you may want to honestly say, you know what, maybe I have to look at my options, or talk to your team, talk to your supervisor. How can you make it more healthy? Or honestly, emotionally, getting professional help, seeking the help of a therapist if it's required, looking at those options. So, you know, guys, that's what the nervous system is about. It's not just about, okay, how to lift a box and now my spine is good. That is such a 1% of the big picture. It's a big picture. Your brain and your spine is how you live your life, how you interact with the life. It's one of the most critical systems in the body. It's running everything. I think we always think of the heart, which is obviously critical. We know that. But the brain is huge. Brain is running the whole show. And we want that brain-body connection. So I want you, if you're watching this video, maybe write a comment. One thing you're going to change, it might be just, I'll drink more water. I'm going to eat better food. I'm going to try to meditate, pray. Write down one thing. Maybe you're going to say, I'm just going to go for walks. I'm going to start to move more. These things will help your nervous system. They're good for you. And that's all I want. I want the best for you. So God bless. I know this video went a little bit longer, but I want it to be very thorough, in depth. We're here for you. If you have any questions, call or text us at 905-896-3393. That's 905-896-3393. I wish you only the best for you and your family. Enjoy this Mother's Day weekend, and if you can, celebrate with your mother, appreciate her. I just wish you the best, and as always, God bless. Dr. Sandy signing off.